Hello students. So students, in the previous class we were talking about in the chapter, we have started with a new chapter, and that is changes around us. Changes around us, it means the different kind of changes which occurs around us, which is occurring around our surrounding, that is related to the change. In this chapter student, we have started with a very important thing, and that is, we can say that a change is occurring or a change occurred if only there is a change in the property of a substance, right? And these property, it can be the shape, it can be the state, it can be the color, can be the color also student, or it can be the temperature, okay, etc. A lot of things are there student, lot of the properties are there. That if the properties, shape, size is also there, shape is there, size is also there, etc. So you see composition is also there. So you see that if there is any change in these properties, we will say that changes has taken place. It means change occur. So change occur due to the change in the property of the substances. Okay. Now you see students, in this one we have also discussed that there are some changes which is very good for us, and there are some changes which is harmful for us. Changes which not going to affect us, which shows the benefit, we call such kind of changes as a beneficial changes. And the changes which is problematic for the human being or for the living organism or for the environment, such kind of changes is a change that is harmful for us. So one change is there which is beneficial to us, another change is there which is harmful for us. Now lot of changes are occurring here students, and when we talk about the change, basically change is divided into two, okay, and that is reversible and the second one is irreversible. Reversible change and irreversible change. If we start with the first one, that is the reversible, the name itself says a lot of a thing, and that is reverse. It means which can be reversed, a change which can be reversed easily. Such kind of a change is known as a reversible change. And the change which cannot be reversed after it gets changed into the another substance, such kind of a change is a is an irreversible change. Okay, so let us start with the first change, and that is the reversible change. Reversible change here students. Now you see student, whenever we talk about the change occur due to the action of something. It occurs due to the action of a heat, it occurs due to the action of a light, it occurs due to the action of electricity. Okay, all of the things are responsible for any change. So we can say that the changes occur due to the action of all these things. Now, on this basis, students, we can explain that of a reversible change, and that is, if last year also we have taken a very good example, and that is the ice. Again also we will take this example, that is ice. So if suppose we will convert the ice into water, so you see student that the ice gets converted into water when you apply heat on it. Right? Now, again, if you want to convert the water to that of the ice, you can do the same process by freezing it. Okay? So by taking the water in the tray and when you keep it in the fridge, you will see that it will again get converted into the ice. Okay, so the conversion of the water to that of the ice occur through that of the freezing process. Although the ice get converted into water by the action of the heat. So this change is what? In which the ice first of all get converted to water and water gets converted to the ice. This change is reversible change. This is what? It is a reversible. Okay, so we can say that the ice get converted to water and from water then it get converted into the ice again. Okay, so this kind of a change in which the change can be reversed easily, that is from the solid to that of the liquid, such kind of a liquid and again from liquid to that of the solid. Such kind of a change in which change can be reversed is known as a reversible change. Okay, so we can write the definition of the reversible change, that a change which can be reversed. A change which can be reversed is a reversible change. Okay, a change which can be reversed is known as the reversible change. So for that student, if we take that ice is what? It is a solid and on heating it gets converted to liquid water, so it can be reversed easily. Okay, so it can be reversed easily. That is the example of the reversible changes. A lot of examples are there, student, that we see day to day life, which we call it as a reversible change, or which we will keep in the category of the reversible changes. Okay, so we can write it. Examples of the reversible change. Examples. A lot of examples are there, student. Let me write one by one, each of one. You see, the first one is the melting of ice. This is a very common which we have talked a lot, melting of ice. The second, students, that we can take is the boiling of the water. Now when this ice, it get boiling of water. Now when this ice, it get converted into the liquid, and when you boil the liquid, when you boil that water which is formed due to the melting of the ice, that is you can say that again can be converted into the from the water vapor to the water again. So boiling of the water is also an example of the reversible change. Then melting of the wax. Melting of wax. Melting of wax, students, how is it so? You see that a candle wax is there, and when you burn it, so the wax, it starts melting. Okay, and when you are providing the heat, then you can see that the melting of the wax occur. But as you leave it, as the wax, the melted wax, it cools down, then again it will get solidified. Okay, so you can see that again it will gain its own condition, and means its own state when you will leave it or when it get cools. Okay, so melting of the wax is an example of a reversible change, because when you provide the heat, it will melt it, but as you leave it, when the temperature cools down, at that time again it will get solidified. The next one is the stretching of the rubber band. So, stretching of rubber band. How stretching of the rubber band is, student? You see, if you take a rubber band and you stretch it, at that time there is a change in the shape and the size of the rubber band, right? You see that when you stretch it, students, then the size of the rubber band gets increased. I'll explain you with the help of an example. You can see here, student, this is a rubber band. If you stretch it, then what will happen? This rubber band, the size of this is the size of the rubber band, and when you stretch it, so you can see now the size of the rubber band get increased. Now again when you leave it, then again you found that the size of this rubber band, it regains its size. Okay, so stretching of the rubber band is also an example of the reversible change, because when you stretch it, the shape and the size, it gets increases, but as you leave it, the shape and the size, again it will regain the shape and the size. So we can say that it shows the reversible change, or we will include it in the example of a reversible change. Now not only the stretching of the rubber band, student, but if you take an example of a spring, stretching of a spring, when you stretch a spring, students, at that time a spring is there, if suppose, and when you stretch it, so what will happen? The shape of that of the spring get changed. Okay, but as you leave this leave this point, again it will regain its own shape. Okay, so when you stretch it, the shape changes, but as you leave it, the shape, it will gain its shape. Okay, so stretching of the spring is also an example of a reversible changes. Inflation of the balloon. Okay, so you see, students, inflation of the balloon. Inflation of a balloon. How inflation of balloon, students? You see, student, if you take a balloon and you start giving air in it, what will happen? The size of the balloon keeps on increasing, right? So the size of the balloon, it keeps on increasing. It means that when you put the air in it, it increases. Now, how does it happen? When you put the air in it, when you giving air in it, as the air will be removed from that of the balloon again will get its own shape. Okay, so you can inflate the balloon by giving air in it, by providing air in it, but again the balloon will regain its shape when the air will comes out. So this is a kind of a reversible change. Then ironing of clothes, students. You used to see that your clothes, after washing, it shrinks. Okay, so what you used to do, you used to iron the clothes so that you can remove any kind of a shrinkage of that of the cloth. So you see, ironing of the cloth is also an example of the reversible change. Folding of the paper, students. So you see that if suppose you have taken a paper, folding of the paper. So you see, student, if suppose you have taken a paper and you fold it, when you fold it, you have seen that the shape and the size of the paper get changed. Okay, it become smaller one. Now, again when you open it, you will find that it will regain its shape again. Okay, so you are not tearing the paper, but you are simply folding the paper. So this is what? This is also a kind of a reversible changes. Okay. Now not only this, a student, rolling of a chapati from a dough. Your mother, she used to prepare the chapatis, and for that she used to take the dough and she used to roll with the help of a roller, and that is what it will help in giving the shape to the chapati. And if you take the shape chapati, the circle chapati, and again you will fold it, it will again become a dough. So we can say that it is possible to change the chapati into the dough again. Here we are talking about the chapati which is made with the help of the dough without heating it, before heating it. Okay. Now, dissolving salt in the water, it is a good example, student, and we have discussed about it, that how the dissolving salt in water is a reversible change. You know that, student, if suppose you have added salt in your water, so this salt can be separated from the water by a process called evaporation. So you see, student, that how dissolving salt in the water is an example of a reversible change. So you have taken a beaker in which you have added a 2 teaspoonful of salt in it, and you dissolve it in the water. You will find that there is a formation of the salt solution. Now you want to separate that salt from the water. So how can you separate it? By the process of the evaporation. It means by heating the salt solution, again we are able to get the salt from the water. So this is what? This is also an example of a reversible change in which salt can be obtained by the process of the evaporation. So this is an example of a salt. Instead of a salt, you can take any of the examples, student, like a sugar in it. So dissolving sugar in water also an example of a reversible change, because even then also if you are mixing a sugar in the water and you provide heat to it, ultimately this sugar will be left in the form of a sugar crystal at the bottom of the container in which you have taken the solution, while the water which is present in it will get evaporated. Okay, so we can say that the sugar solution can also be reversed. Then we can say that, student, kneading of the sweater. In the chapter 3rd, we have heard about the kneading process, student. And what is a kneading? That with the help of a kneading needle, when we make a yarn, that is a kneading. Okay, so kneading of the sweater. So here we are preparing the sweater, we are making the sweater. So you see, students, we used to make the sweater with the help of a knitting needle, and if we are able to again can convert the sweater into the wool by removing all the yarns from each other. So this is also a reversible changes. Melting of the ice cream, melting of the ice candy, these all are the examples of that of a reversible changes. Now one more thing is there, students, that is heating of the milk. So heating of the milk, you see that when you supply sufficient heat to the milk, your milk becomes hot, and when you leave it, again it will get converted into the cold milk. So here what is the change? There is a change in the property of the substance. Okay, so we already have studied about it, that if there is a change in the property also, we will call the changes occur. Okay, so that is the example of the reversible change, students. In this one, students, we can talk the other examples like that of the melting of the iron also, students. So you have seen, student, that when we apply a high temperature, a very high temperature to that of the iron gets converted into the liquid, and we use the term for it, that of the liquid iron is known as a molten iron. Molten iron. Molten iron is what? That iron is in the form of a liquid, that is known as a molten iron. When it starts melting, that is known as a molten iron. Okay. Now this molten iron is basically used for giving the different shapes. Okay, so at first when the iron was not melted, student, at that time iron was in the form of a solid. It was in the solid form, right? But when you melt it, when you supply a sufficient amount of a heat to it, at that time this iron will get converted into the liquid state. So we can say that a molten iron is what? It is a liquid state. Okay. So solid state gets converted into that of the liquid state. Now when you leave this molten iron at a cool temperature, then you will find that this molten iron again gets back converted into the iron which is having the solid state. So you can see, student, by applying the temperature, here we are applying the heat, it means we are applying the temperature. we can convert the iron, solid iron into the liquid iron, and we can give the different shape according to that. If suppose we are making the things which is made up of iron, for that first of all we will convert the iron into the molten iron, and that iron will be placed into the shape in which we have to make, of which we will going to make that of the shape of the iron. So we will keep it on the shape, and we'll try to cool it down. When it's cool, it gets converted into the solid again. So we can say that the molten iron can be converted into the solid again. Okay, so you can see from the solid to the liquid, and from the liquid again it will get back converted into the solid again. Okay students, so this is also an example of a reversible change. Now likewise student, like this there is also coal tar. What is a coal tar? It is a black liquid. It is a coal tar is a black solid. Black is a black solid which is basically used in repairing the, which is used in making and repairing the, it is used in making and repairing repairing roads. So it is basically used in making and repairing road, students. Okay, so we can say that this coal tar is a solid which help in making the road. So first of all, how it is used for making the road? So at first it is heated. When it is heated at a very high temperature, so this coal tar, it melted. Okay, and it melted becomes a liquid coal tar. Okay, now this liquid coal tar or this melted coal tar is placed over that of the road, so that it will finally it will help in means it will cover the rough surface of the or the unrepaired surface of the road. So it helps in making the road, students. So when it cools down, this liquid gets converted into the solid. Okay, so liquid gets solidified, and again you can see that from the solid it will get converted to the liquid, and when it gets solidified it will again get converted into the solid. Okay, so while using the coal tar, we used to melt it so that it becomes a molten coal tar or a melted coal tar or a liquid coal tar. And okay, so we can say that the coal tar, it is a black solid which is used for making and repairing the road, and when you heat it, this will becomes liquid, and that liquid again will get solidified when you leave it or when you cool the temperature. After cooling the temperature, it will get converted into the solid again. So like this students, we can say that the iron or the coal tar is also an example, or melting of a coal tar is also an example of a reversible change. Now let us discuss a very important thing, and that is the expansion. Expansion students, you see when we talk about the expansion here, expansion is what? It is the increase in the size. Let us understand the term expansion, meaning of the expansion. So meaning of the expansion, it means expand. Okay, expand means increase in the size of the object or anything. When we provide a heat to an object, it will get converted, or its size get increased. Then we can say that that is what? That is the expansion. Okay, so you see students. Okay, so expansion is what? That we call in a simple term, that is increase in the size of the object due to heating. Object due to heating. Yeah, it means that when you provide a heat or to the object, it will get expanded. The opposite of that of the expansion, student, that is known as a contraction. So expansion is there, and another term that we use is the contraction. What is a contraction? that contraction is the decrease in the size. Decrease in the size, students. So you see, when you decreases the temperature, the size of the object also gets decreases. Okay, so it means when you provide a cooling, when it is a cooling, or when you decrease the temperature, when it is a cooling, then you can say that contraction occur. It means there will be decrease in the size. And when you provide a heat to an object, there will be increase in the size, and that is known as an expansion. Expansion and contraction, both of them occur. You can say that when you provide a heat, a thing expand, and when it cools down, again regain its own position, own state. So that is what an expansion and contraction. So both of them will be included in that of the reversible changes. So the reversible change of the expansion is basically used in fixing the rim, fixing an iron rim on the wooden wheel. Fixing an iron rim on wooden wheel. So you have seen, student, wooden wheel. So you have seen, students, iron rim it is not rim, it is rim, R-I-M. Okay, so iron rim is basically fixed on, it is used to fix on that of a wooden wheel. Now how it is fixed, student? If we use a big size of an iron rim and try to fix it on that of a wooden wheel, so you will find that it will not going to form, it will not going to fix it properly. It will not going to formally attach with that of the wooden wheel. But what we want that this iron rim should get firmly attached with that of the wooden wheel. And it is only possible when this, when we provide a heat to it, it means when it will expand, and after that when it will. So what we used to do, fixing of an iron rim on that of a wooden wheel, students, we used to take an iron, and the iron size is the smaller one. We used to take a small size of our iron rim, and now we have to fix that of the iron rim on that of a wooden wheel. So what we used to do, at first we used to provide a heat to it. When you provide heat to it, this iron rim will get expand. Okay, so first of all, what we used to do the expansion of that of the iron rim. And how the expansion of the iron rim occur? By providing a sufficient amount of a heat to it. Okay, so small iron rim is there, students, and when you provide a heat to it, then this will get expanded. So for that, we will continuously provide the uniform heat will be provide to that of the iron rim. Okay, so okay, so we can say that this iron rim is expanded by giving heat, and finally it is placed over that of the wooden wheel. Okay, now it get expanded, students. Okay, and you are keeping it on that of the wooden wheel. Then after cooling, now it is left so that it will get cooled down. So when it cools down, then as the temperature lowers, you know that due to cooling, the size of the object decreases. So that is known as a contraction. So expansion, due to which the iron rim size increases. We can say that size of iron rim increases. And when you provide the sufficient, when you provide a cooling to it, okay, so cooling, this cooling will help in the contraction of that of the iron rim. So at first, suppose this is the iron rim, student, so at first it is this size, and the size of the wheel is this much. So when you will provide a heat to its size get increases to this much. Now this size of a rim is placed over that of the wooden wheel, and when it cools down, again it will gain its own shape, student, its own size. So that will be placed. Now it will be placed over that of the wooden wheel. When you place it over that of the wooden wheel, it will firmly attach that of the wooden wheel. So by the process of expansion and contraction, we can fix the iron rim on that of the wooden wheel. The same thing we used to do in fixing that of the iron on a spade or digging tool. So we can say that it is also used in fixing an iron blade on a fixing of iron blade on a digging tool or a spade. Okay, so here also student, we used to provide a sufficient amount of a heat to that of a iron blade so that it will firmly attach with that of a spade or that of a digging tool. Okay, so you can say that by the process of expansion and contraction, we are able to fix an iron rim or iron blade on a particular object. So you can see student, expansion contraction is a reversible change. So expansion contraction, both of them, as it is a reversible change, so it can be used for a many purpose.